Public safety remains a top issue for residents in Decatur. It's an issue officials say they're taking into consideration. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman spoke with city leaders about how.
Another town hall hosted by the Decatur Police Department, giving the public a chance to voice questions and concerns to DPD's top leadership.
This is a way where I can learn the community and their needs and take their needs, learn, implement things to accommodate them to make it a better and safer community.
This is not the first time in 2026 the Decatur Police Department has hosted a community town hall, but leaders say they've been working on implementing suggestions from the community. DPD says actions are being taken now, with additional training ongoing for officers.
As we speak right now, we have trainings going on for our officers and supervisors for de-escalation.
We took a hit about officers being over-aggressive, stuff like that. So, matter of fact, this week we had the #1 de-escalation training for the last 3 years in law enforcement. It's called Calming the Fire. The instructor was Darryl Rivers. And it's a tool that the officers is going to have in their box.
More presence in neighborhoods, and we're doing a lot more of that. Hiring new police officers and a lot more training. We're actually have training programs going this whole week.
Public safety remains a top priority for residents. That's according to community survey results released Thursday. Just about 38% of the near 700 responses listed the issue as a priority.
Public safety has always been something that's important to me to begin with, and that's something that came up here, and we'll continue to support the new chief and everything that he's doing to improve our police department. I wasn't really surprised too much about the information that was in the survey, more confirmed what I felt to begin with, but it's very important to me to hear from our citizens.
City leaders tell us they plan to put out more surveys in the future, highlighting the added communication between them and the people they serve. From Decatur, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Also part of this survey, when asked if Decatur is moving in the right direction, just north of 34% said yes. Nearly 28% said no, but more than 38% said they were unsure. Tonight, the Huntsville City Council approved a new partnership between the police department and the FBI to target child exploitation and human trafficking. The council also added a proposed hemp zoning ordinance to the calendar, with a public hearing and vote scheduled for March 26th. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala has more.
The Huntsville City Council meeting ended with the approval of the FBI-police partnership, giving HPD access to federal resources, joint investigations, and digital forensics for child exploitation and human trafficking cases.
We think it's beneficial to partner with the federal agencies so we can share intelligence, share resources, and go after those particularly bad crimes here in our community.
The partnership formalizes HPD's ability to work with the FBI's Internet Crimes Against Children team and provide victim-centered responses. Recent joint efforts have led to 5 ICAC arrests, 2 human trafficking arrests, and the rescue of an 11-year-old victim.
You see the sexploitation, you see cyberbullying, you see all kinds of things across the full spectrum. They will look at all of those things, and oftentimes you might find someone who's a victim of multiple of those things simultaneously, right? So it is certainly online has become a big part of how people engage in this crime. So wherever we have a victim, we want to find who did it and bring them to justice, and so they will focus on all those things.
Also discussed at the meeting was the hemp zoning ordinance.
All in favor, please indicate. Aye. The hearing is set.
Which is now under review and could treat standalone hemp stores like liquor stores, limiting them to certain commercial and industrial areas, requiring frontage on main roads, and keeping them a safe distance from schools, churches, and other licensed hemp or liquor stores. City Council says these actions position Huntsville to handle complex challenges as it continues to grow, from investigating serious crimes that cross jurisdictional lines to regulating new industries like consumable hemp while ensuring neighborhood protections. In Huntsville, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
The FBI partnership with Huntsville Police begins immediately, while the hemp zoning ordinance will be heard and voted on during the March 26th City Council meeting. A bridge nearly a century old is coming down in Florence after the Alabama Department of Transportation deemed it needed some major repairs. Construction is expected to impact traffic along US 43 North, heading into Florence for nearly 2 years as private contractors replace the bridge. Here's a look at the bridge on Mitchell Boulevard, which will see restricted traffic flow and closures beginning next week. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo shows us what's coming.
The Mitchell Boulevard Bridge here in Florence is due for replacement. At 88 years old, the Alabama Department of Transportation is looking to make some big changes to it over the next 2 years. But in the meantime, it'll cause some impacts for traffic going in and out of Florence. Some of the biggest renovations include added shoulders, better guardrails, and steel support beams. In addition, the contractor Miller & Miller will raise the bridge higher so larger trucks can fit through more easily. The project, starting Monday, is expected to cost over $7 million. It should take around 2 years and multiple phases to finish construction on the new bridge. During that time, traffic will be restricted as workers start the disassembly process. After a few weeks, they'll open up a detour for northbound traffic headed into Florence. Then traffic will close completely while the new bridge goes up. AlDOT's Seth Burkett describes the need for a full overhaul, adding that commuters should be patient and prepared to take alternate routes.
Any bridge that's that old is usually going to be sort of deficient by modern standards as far as the width of the bridge and shoulders, things like that we construct on a bridge that we would be building nowadays for added safety. Bridges constructed in the 1930s typically don't have a lot of that stuff.
Burkett says the replacement bridge will modernize Mitchell Boulevard, making it safer and allowing even more cars on the road. In Florence, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Other main roads you can take into Florence during the bridge's replacement include Wilson Dam Road and the Singing River Bridge. A bill filed in the Alabama legislature would require public service commissions to hold yearly rate hearings. This comes as two controversial PSC bills have been filed during the current session. Concerns have been raised around the state due to rising utilities rates. For District 28 Representative Mac Butler, he views House Bill 475 as transparency that has been missing in Alabama.
This would put all the cards on the table. It would force them to justify the utilities, to justify their current rates that most people feel are way too high. That's what has not happened in 44 years. And that's where the nuts and bolts get that we, the people, that we've heard from, really want laid out. And this legislation also requires, the public to be involved, invited.
House Bill 475 currently awaiting action in the Transportation, Utilities, and Infrastructure Committee. A bill making its way through the Alabama legislature is raising a lot of questions and some controversy. House Bill 363 would make it a felony to disrupt a religious service in Alabama. But who exactly does the bill protect, and what counts as a disruption? We verify. House Bill 363 would make it a felony to intentionally disrupt a church service with penalties of up to 10 years in prison. The bill has now passed the Alabama House and is moving to the Senate. This comes after protests in Minneapolis interrupted a worship service where demonstrators chanted, quote, "Justice for Renee Good." But that raises an important question. What exactly counts as disrupting a church service under this bill? Let's verify. Our source is the Alabama legislature. Here's what we found. According to the bill, it protects the right of people to meet and assemble for religious worship without willful disruption. And despite being called a church bill, it goes beyond just churches. The bill specifically includes church buildings, mosques, synagogues, and other religious properties, meaning all houses of worship are covered. Now back to the main question. What actually counts as a disruption? According to the bill, it comes down to your actions once you're on that property. If 3 or more people intentionally cause a disturbance by participating in an unlawful protest, riot, or harass anyone attending the service, they could be looking at a felony charge. It also applies if someone physically blocks people from getting in or out of the property, as well as any other forms of disorderly conduct inside the building. But does this mean any time you protest at a church or temple, you can face jail time? Under the bill, the law doesn't apply just because someone is on church property. There has to be a scheduled worship service actually taking place. So no scheduled service equals no charge. But if someone does violate it, a first offense would be a Class C felony with a possible sentence of up to 10 years. A second offense would carry the same felony charge but would require at least 5 years behind bars. If the Senate passes the bill and it's signed into law, it would take effect October 1st. So we can verify that under House Bill 363, disrupting a church service would be disrupting any scheduled worship service in any house of worship, which could land you a felony charge and up to 10 years in prison. Last night's State of the Union address marks the longest in U.S. history, lasting nearly 2 hours as President Trump discussed various topics impacting the country and you. Topics included housing and oil prices, drug trafficking, and foreign affairs. And people here in the Rocket City have all kinds of opinions on the state of the country under Trump. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo spoke with residents to get their thoughts.
President Trump's State of the Union address Tuesday night tackled multiple issues at the top of people's minds. Some of his biggest talking points had to do with immigration control, crime, and the economy. Here's what people in North Alabama had to say about it.
The current administration has let the country down in a lot of respects. When we talk about the prices of food, we talk about the medical arena in terms of county hospitals not having what they need. And when you go to the grocery store, you can look at the prices on products at this point in time. The prices have not gone down. And that was a promise that the president ran on that has not come to real people who go to the grocery stores every day.
Some here in Huntsville say the Trump administration isn't tackling key issues like housing and cost of living the way he promised on the campaign trail. They say the problems affecting their lives aren't being handled with the same care as broader issues like the stock market and global affairs.
He's doing things based on himself, not upon his people, if that makes sense. Everything benefits him in a way and not benefit us. We have bigger problems. We got people hungry, people with nowhere to live, lay their head at night. People that's simply in the cold, and that don't seem to click to the president.
Others agree that our country has some problems to fix, but we need to work together instead of fighting one another to solve them. They say national politics won't affect your life as quickly as politics on the state or local level, which can have a direct impact on your city and county.
There were pros and cons. I see there's a lot of improvement that needs to be made in our country. I mean, I can see some things, important points. We see some good things where he's stopping drug dealers from bringing drugs into our country. That's a good thing. Together, I think we can make it, Republicans and Democrats. If we work together, I think we can make the United States a great country like it is.
Tyree is calling on people to give the president more time to accomplish everything his administration set out to do. In the meantime, experts are telling us to watch closely and make sure your voice is heard in the midterm elections. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Several state leaders took to social media to give their thoughts on last night's address. Among them, Governor Kay Ivey praised the speech, saying, quote, President Donald J. Trump delivered a strong, patriotic, optimistic, and America First State of the Union tonight. As we look toward our nation's 250th this summer, we can be proud about where we're going. The state of our union is strong, end quote. You can find more reactions from state leaders on fox54.com.
Last month, I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes.
Housing, a big topic across the nation, with President Trump mentioning the topic several times during his State of the Union address earlier this week. During his speech, Trump talked about an executive order looking to stop private equity firms from buying homes. According to local realtor Matt Curtis, the Rocket City hasn't been immune, telling Fox 54 Huntsville was one of the biggest markets for firms to buy in last year.
Huntsville actually in 2025 made the #2 list in the entire U.S. in terms of Wall Street coming in and buying Main Street. 12% of the purchases made in Huntsville were from Wall Street investors. And so that, from the president, stopping that's going to be a huge thing for Huntsville and helping those first-time home buyers getting into their first homes.
And when it comes to those first-time home buyers, another topic President Trump mentioned in his address, Curtis tells us that Huntsville is one of the best in the country for those buying their first home.
One of the great things for first-time home buyers is Huntsville is one of the best cities to actually buy your first home in the entire U.S. And the reason for that is the Housing Affordability Index. We are now north of 100 on that score. Basically, that means your median household income can afford your median price range home. We're one of the few cities, large cities like Huntsville with a lot of job growth, that actually has affordability. Most cities are in like the 60s or 70s, so to be north of 100 is a great thing for first-time home buyers in our area.
And on the topic of private equity firms buying homes, Curtis believes Trump's executive order would get people closer to being first-time homeowners. A new development in Limestone County that broke ground Friday has state backing and a unique tax credit with it for developers. The Grove at South Jefferson, a first in the state housing development, will sit between Tanner and Athens once completed. The development is designed to help younger families as more jobs come to North Alabama and housing prices rise in booming areas such as Limestone County. Fox 54 got the chance to talk with Representative Parker Moore on the new development. Let's have a listen.
that growth comes a greater need for support of our workforce, and not only through job training and education, but ensuring workers and their families have the access to affordable and quality housing close to where they work. And so part of the Alabama package that we sponsored a couple years ago, the Working for Alabama package, that creates that housing tax credit that allowed this opportunity to come to fruition.
And this development will be the first to utilize the workforce housing tax credit in the state, which the Secretary of Workforce, Greg Reed, tells us will help ease housing concerns in growing areas.
There's also incentive for the developer to be able to say to the developer, come and build in this area. This is a great opportunity for you to invest, which these folks are going to be investing tens of millions of dollars of their own money. And if you will come and do this, then there are incentives from the state of Alabama to get you to build housing in areas where we recognize we need it the most because of growth in jobs and the growth in the economy in these particular locations.
I'm joined now by reporter Carson Keel. And Carson, I know you spoke with them. Secretary Reed adds that this will be the first of 3 facilities. And when it comes to young families, the development won't just focus on housing, but also childcare.
Yeah, so he kind of went into it a little bit. You know, this is a facility that is not just going to be, okay, you come in, you live. It's also going to be helping out these families because, you know, the understanding of course, you have Mazda Toyota, you have Eli Lilly coming soon, Space Command, similar kind of facilities that are going to be kind of easing into Limestone County. So this is going to be kind of an all-around, hey, we're here to help kind of facility, not just a come live here and that's it.
Yeah, and when you think about it, it's pretty automatic when you're settling and you have a new home and you're starting a new life. Family is paramount and you need that support to take care of your family.
Yeah, and it's really cool to kind of see this because as I was speaking with Secretary Reed, he mentioned that one facility is getting ready to break ground in Foley. He didn't remember at the time where the third one's going to be, but you know, I hope to see this kind of succeed because I think this is going to be a really interesting concept to see what the state can do forward when it comes to this type of housing.
If you've been looking to refresh your home decor, today is your lucky day. After months of anticipation, IKEA has finally opened its doors right here in the Tennessee Valley. The location is the first physical store in the state of Alabama and only the 3rd storefront in the tri-state area. Before today, customers would need to drive to Atlanta or Memphis to purchase IKEA's iconic furniture or pick up online purchases at locations in Birmingham or Nashville. But you'll recall last August, IKEA announced plans to open a store in Huntsville at the site of a former Conn's Home Plus on University Drive, reflecting IKEA's strategy to bring more locations to mid-sized cities. The retailer began the process of hiring employees in November, while signage went up earlier this month. Which brings us to today. Huntsville's IKEA officially opened its doors this morning. And the crowds didn't disappoint, with some shoppers in line at 5 a.m. before the sun even came up, hoping to snag a piece of history and maybe a few gift cards. Just check out this video from the FOX54 YouTube channel. FOX54's Logan Alexandra Russell takes us to today's festivities.
It's a sight many Alabamians thought they'd have to cross the state lines to see. But this morning, the wait ended at 5 a.m. here in Huntsville. Hundreds braved the morning chill fueled by the promise of home inspiration and, of course, some grand opening perks.
I was excited about coming to Kia. My neighbor convinced me, oh, you got to go. They're going to have so many giveaways. I've been here since a little after 5 this morning.
A little after 5?
Yes.
Just for IKEA?
Just IKEA and the gifts.
For Tammy Dostin, the early wake-up call paid off as she's one of the first to walk through a showroom that manager Brad Ellis says is designed specifically for the local community.
This is all about our bigger effort to put IKEA in more places, right? And we want to be where people socialize, where they work, where they shop, and this is a great example of that. We have furniture on display, about 5,000 items. We have about 2,000 items for immediate takeaway, and the best part, we've got Swedish meatballs.
For shoppers like Dostin, it's not just about the furniture. It's about finally having a piece of the IKEA experience in her own backyard.
I have ordered when my grandkids were littler from IKEA, but I've never been to IKEA before. I just remodeled my bathroom, so I want to try to find some stuff to put in there.
During today's ceremony, the store also gifted $10,000 to Crisis Services of North Alabama to help support survivors of domestic violence as a way to give back to the community. In Huntsville, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
Well, it was quite the turnout for day one, and the excitement isn't slowing down anytime soon. If you missed the morning rush, the store will be open until 7 tonight. And if you want to see more from today's grand opening, you can check out extended interviews on Fox 54 Plus. Download on your TV, watch for free. We'll also have a taste test of the famous Swedish meatballs coming up on Fox 54 News at 6 on Fox 54 Plus. A new medical facility is coming to Lawrence County. The Huntsville Hospital Health System received unanimous state approval to build a $14 million facility aimed at bringing more outpatient health care services to the community. The new facility will be located along Highway 24 in Moulton, sitting on a 20-acre site. The location provides plenty of space for future expansion, ample parking, and easy access for residents throughout Lawrence County. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala was on site to show how this new center will bring more medical care closer to the community.
It may just look like open land right now, but soon this site will become Lawrence County's next medical facility, expanding access to care without residents having to leave the county. The 10,000 square foot facility will include extended hours urgent care, diagnostic imaging, lab services, respiratory and physical therapy, and a community room designed to meet everyday healthcare needs close to home.
We need to focus a lot on primary care and preventive medicine. And I think this facility will really help us do that in the community, make sure that people have their mammograms, they have their PSAs tested, they have their colonoscopy scheduled. Even though we won't do it there, we can work through our primary care to make sure things are caught early.
Powers says the new center will also support rural healthcare clinics already operating in the county, helping connect patients to care across the region. Some residents say the loss of emergency care is still a concern, including longtime Moulton resident Pam Brown, whose niece recently faced a medical emergency at a local high school and had to be transported to Decatur Morgan Hospital.
We need a local ER here in Lawrence County. As much of sports and as much traffic and stuff that we have here in case of a child and daycares that we have here in case of a child being sick or a wreck, we need something like that here. Whenever I used the Lawrence County ER here, when it was open, the wait was 45 minutes compared to 3, 4, 5 hours in Decatur.
Powers says while this won't be a full emergency room, the design and extended hours are expected to keep wait times short, described as easy in and easy out care. Construction is expected to begin in May and take about 14 to 16 months to complete. In Moulton, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
Powers says the facility will also offer state-of-the-art equipment and room for future expansion, providing a fresh start for local health care in Lawrence County. Hartselle City Schools raising its out-of-district tuition fee for the upcoming school year, citing the need to make up about $650,000 in its budget. Superintendent Dr. Holly Sutherland says the increase is meant to stabilize district finances while continuing to support strong academic programs. Starting next year, tuition will be $1,000 for non-employee students and $750 for children of district employees.
We projected, based on our budget, that we'll spend $1,100 or a little bit more than $1,100 per student more than what we are funded from the state. And that's got to be made up through local money for our in-district students.
May says the district reviewed a 5-year average of spending to compare what the state provides per student with what the district actually spends, helping guide decisions on where changes were needed.
We didn't figure in maintenance. We didn't figure in our CMP world. None of those things are in those figures. I want to be able for everybody to come free, but it just doesn't work that way, because to be able to have quality teachers, quality administrators, quality support personnel, we have to have the funds to fund that.
Parents raising safety concerns at Morris Elementary and middle schools where younger students are crossing the street without waiting for the crossing guard. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala takes a closer look at the challenges families and neighbors are seeing.
Right as school lets out, traffic along this busy road picks up. And parents tell us they're worried drivers aren't slowing down when kids are crossing. But these concerns have nothing to do with the crossing guards nor the school's safety protocols. Phyllis Villarreal, who lives on Crestwood Drive near the school, says some parents who don't want to wait in the carpool line are sending their children across the busy road to meet them, despite no parking signs. That leaves kids crossing without a guard or teacher, creating a serious safety risk for students and neighbors alike.
With parents parking on the road they park on, there's no sidewalk. So the kids have to walk on the road. It's just a residential road, but still cars go up and down it, and it's just not safe for kids and parents to be doing that.
Craig Williams with Huntsville City Schools stresses that the crossing guard and school staff are working hard to keep students safe. A guard is stationed at the intersection along with teachers, and in rare cases when a guard can't be there, police provide support. Williams' comments set up proposed solutions being discussed by District 4 Councilman Bill Kling.
Having a police officer there who would have ticketing authority, and also to see if there's a way that all of the traffic, instead of being on Bob Wallace Avenue and even into Crestwood Drive, if there's a way to funnel all of that waiting traffic onto the Morris School grounds.
Councilman Kling also suggests a bilingual crossing guard, helping communicate parking rules to families in this large Spanish-speaking school community.
I see bad driving in the afternoon more than in the morning time. So having a cop, at 2:30, 3 o'clock around that school time, just having a cop every day around that time, it would be a really good solution.
Residents say they want action before an accident happens, including stricter parking enforcement. In Huntsville, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
Huntsville City Schools Communications Director Craig Williams adds crossing guards are not employed by the school system. Anyone interested in helping can apply through the city of Huntsville. A Morgan County community looking to rebuild a piece of history after a fire burned down a building which stood for nearly a century. St. John Elementary School was founded in the 1950s for Black children in Somerville. It was part of the original Rosenwald schools, built to advance education for Black children in the early 20th century. But a fire earlier this month destroyed the schoolhouse. Now, alumni and family hope to restore the building and preserve its history. Fox 54's Dave Glassman has more.
The fire started over there, and it came over here, y'all.
After a fire not even a couple weeks ago, this is what's left of the St. John Elementary Schoolhouse. It was a Rosenwald school serving kids in the Somerville area decades ago.
It's about 100 years old, and it was a segregated school. It belonged to the Morgan County Board of Education at one time because that was a part of the Rosenwald project. It had to belong to school boards. These kids walked 4 and 5 miles one way just to attend this school.
I remember I have a teacher that's connected to that school, and that's Allie Draper. And she taught 1st through 6th grades, and it was a one-room school. And education was what she really stressed. She wanted us to be somebody.
The fire burned its history to the ground.
There's hardly no memories, just a couple of steps, a couple of posts. Everything is gone.
But now there's a push to rebuild. Lynette Burton, founder of nonprofit Kids Table Incorporated and daughter of an alumni, filed for grants Monday and is gathering donations with the hopes to rebuild the schoolhouse.
I wanted people to come here and just hear the stories of the alumni when they tell their stories, but I also wanted to have it where people would come here and just be able to trace their roots.
Alumni we spoke to say it's important to preserve the history and to show future generations how they soar to new heights stemming from the school.
A lot of us have gone on to be professionals. We have done well compared to, if we didn't have that background as someone that was pushing us from the beginning.
In Somerville, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Wow, so much history to restore. Well, a GoFundMe to help with funding has also been posted To find the link to the site and other ways to donate, go to FOX54.com. It's National Engineering Week, and local organizations are recruiting new people to the workforce all week long. The push is for young people who think outside the box. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo spoke with local engineers and instructors to learn more about the need for new ideas.
With National Engineering Week in full swing, there are few better places to highlight than the Rocket City. North Alabama has one of the largest concentrations of engineers in the whole country. Part of that workforce, Peter McDonald, works all along the Tennessee River as a maintenance engineer lead for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. He describes the young minds the Corps and dozens of other companies are currently hiring.
We're looking for engineers to go to the next level, to think outside the box, to think of solutions that no one has thought of before. And that's what really pushes past our limitations as humanity, to help people to achieve goals that the world has never seen before.
And it's breaking limits that inspires engineers like McDonald to make life for the next generation just a little bit more efficient.
We're always pushing to better, you and I, and at the world at large and everyone in between. And so that is the utmost goal, is to get more people involved in technical and to push those limits.
Engineering is also a critical part of the University of Alabama in Huntsville, where they're currently building a new facility to teach that next generation. Dr. Jennifer English with UAH's engineering department says the school's graduates are finding solutions worth celebrating here every single day.
I like to think of them as the unsung superheroes of our community. And I tell them that you're going to make a difference whether you think you're making a difference or not. And most of the time I would say you don't even know that they're doing the work they're doing. We just see these new advances in technology, and students like ours are responsible for that.
But for this week, the engineers are front and center. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
McDonald says there will always be a need for new engineers. If you want to learn more about the push for new hires, read about it on FOX54.com.
Welcome to Trending Topics, where we discuss the hottest happenings and give you our hottest takes. I'm your host, Emily Owen, and up for discussion tonight, Taylor Swift is back at the top of the charts, and she's adding another major milestone to her already historic career. Taylor Swift's latest single, Opalite, has officially hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it her 14th career #1 hit, continuing what's already one of the most dominant chart runs in modern music. The song climbed quickly thanks to massive streaming numbers right after its release, along with strong fan-driven promotion across social media platforms. Industry analysts say this kind of streaming-powered chart success is becoming the new standard for artists competing for the top spot. Fans have been celebrating the achievement online, sharing clips of the song and turning lyrics into trending audio content. That kind of organic engagement has become a huge part of how songs climb the charts in 2026. The success of Opalite also adds more momentum to Swift's latest album era, with music insiders already speculating about what she might release next. At this point, the bigger question isn't just how many hits she's had, it's how much higher can she push that number. Well, that's it for tonight's Trending Topics. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to follow me on my socials at EmilyOwenWX. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Welcome to Trending Topics, where we discuss the hottest happenings and give you our hottest takes. I'm your host, Emily Owen, and up for discussion tonight, the Met Gala is officially back in the headlines, and we now know the theme for 2026. The Metropolitan Museum of Art has announced that this year's Costume Institute exhibition will be titled Time-Tailored Fashion and the Architecture of Influence. The theme will explore how structured design, from sharp suiting to sculptural silhouettes, has shaped power, identity, and culture across generations. If that sounds elevated, well, that's because it is. The Met Gala isn't just a red carpet. It's the annual fundraiser for the Costume Institute at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. And every year, the theme sets the tone for fashion's biggest night. In recent years, we've seen everything from gilded glamour to tributes to American style. Now in 2026, the focus shifts to structure and the power of tailoring as both fashion and statement. The Met Gala is traditionally held the first Monday in May, so mark your calendars now. If this theme is any indication, 2026 is shaping up to be a masterclass in how fashion can quite literally shape culture. Well, that's it for tonight's trending topics. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to follow me on my socials at EmilyOwenWX. I'll see you back here tomorrow.
Now, Fox 54's Top Teacher, sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
I'm excited to introduce this educator. She's been in the classroom for only a year at this school we're about to see, and already her peers are a witness to her impact. They say her students are thriving academically and emotionally, cultivating them for success. Meet this week's Fox 54's top teacher, Tina Rainwater from Sunny Hereford Elementary School in Huntsville. Welcome to
5, 10, 15, 20, 25,
Tina
30,
Rainwater's
35,
class.
40,
It's her first year here,
Who did an array?
and she teaches third grade.
You go from learning to read to reading to learn, and you kind of figure out how to comprehend what you're learning.
Rainwater has been teaching for a total of 5 years and says a supportive community is where a healthy learning environment starts.
I want to show up for the kids, but also here at Sunny Hereford, it's like a team, and I am surrounded by people who believe in me. And I want to believe in the children. I want to pass it down.
For Rainwater, it all started because she believed she had to fulfill a need.
I chose teaching because I met some students in my neighborhood who had really bad home lives, and they didn't have adults in school either that believed in them. So I wanted to believe in children.
For Principal Taria Walters, Rainwater's belief in her students shows. Walters says Rainwater's nurturing and creative spirit helps them grow.
Ms. Rainwater is a relationship building person, teacher. So she builds capacity in her students. Her lessons are always engaging. She always puts students first, and her compassion to her students is impeccable.
Rainwater says she wants her students to advance to the next grade level, knowing they are capable and equipped for excellence.
I hope that they walk away believing that they can do it and finding their inner strength, because they all have what they need to succeed. So I hope that they believe in themselves.
Oh yes, congratulations, Mrs. Rainwater. We have the moment she was surprised as a top teacher in her full interview on Fox 54 Plus. Download on your TV, watch for free. Be sure to nominate a teacher on fox54.com.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True Crime Warrior Style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
Did you know that you can get weather impact updates 24/7 on Fox 54 Plus? Here's how. Go to Fox 54 Plus on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, or Samsung. Once you're on the main screen, Push the down arrow and click on the Fox 54 Plus Weather Impact 24/7 block. Here, you'll find radar, current temperatures and conditions, traffic cams, forecasts, and more, all available on demand. Want to get back to the main channel? Just push the down arrow and click on the 24/7 stream button. It's your weather impact updates 24/7 on Fox 54 Plus. Start streaming today.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
And I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.